y'all, and welcome to another week of What's for Dinner. So tonight we're going to be making smothered taco Frito bowls, and the recipe that I'm going to link below, it's actually in the slow cooker, but I woke up late, no surprise there. And so I'm going to do it in my electric pressure cooker, or a lot of people have Instant Pots, but I have an XL pressure cooker. It's the same thing, they all do the same thing, electric pressure cookers. So you can follow the directions for it to be slow cooked, or you can do it how I'm doing it in the pressure cooker, so we can have it real quick tonight after I got off work and came home. So let's show you the ingredients. All right, so for our recipe, we have an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, a 10-ounce can of Rotel. This is of course the Aldi kind, because that's where I get most of my groceries. Let's see, 2 cans of mild chili beans. The recipe was specific on Bush's chili beans, Bush's Best chili beans. I didn't follow that. I got these, I'm sure it'll be just fine, but if you prefer Bush's, then use that. Half a cup of water. It says 1 cup of onion chopped. It says yellow or sweet. This is what I have on hand, so this is what I'm going to use. I'll cut it up into a cup. A packet of taco seasoning. I don't buy the packets of taco seasoning, I make my own. So this is about a little over a tablespoon, a heaping tablespoon of my homemade taco seasoning. If you would like to see a video on how I make my taco seasoning, please comment down below and I will make a video on how I make that homemade. I stopped buying the packets of taco seasoning months and months ago. They just have a lot of salt in it. This still does have salt in it, but just not as much. Anyways, then also ground beef. The recipe calls for 1.5 pounds. That's a little bit too much meat for me, but we're only a family of 3. My mom will be here tonight, so possibly a family of 4 eating tonight. I don't know if she'll eat with us or if she'll stop and get herself something else. So this is 93% lean, 7% fat. I normally try and get pretty lean ground beef, but anyways, I would get turkey, but my son really detests ground turkey. So anyways, these are the ingredients. So I'm going to first brown this meat with the onion after I dice it up, and then we're gonna put it all in the pressure cooker and get it started. All right, so first things first, I cut the onion in half and I dice that half up and put it in a little bowl, set it aside. Next, I spray down a pan and I dump the onion in there, along with the pound of ground beef. And then I cook that on medium-high heat until the onions were softened and the meat was cooked all the way through. Since I use such a low-fat meat, I didn't have to drain this, but if you use a higher fat meat, then you should drain this before you do the next step. All right, so next I added in the water, the homemade taco seasoning, and then I gave it a good stirring. Everything mixed up real well, and set it aside for in just a minute. All right, next I'm gonna spray in my insert with a little bit of cooking spray. Dump in both cans of chili beans. Do not drain them, just dump them in exactly as they are. 1 can of Rotel undrained. The can of tomato sauce. And then after that, I'm gonna put in the meat and onion mixture. Get it all mixed up. And then we're gonna put the lid on top of there. Make sure it's set so the steam doesn't come out. I put my pressure cooker on the soup setting and I set it for 30 minutes. All right, so while the recipe is finishing up, its last few minutes, I'm going to show you what toppings we have. So we've got some jalapeno slices, some lime and garlic salsa, light sour cream, the Fritos, of course, though also the recipe says that you can use rice, and I'm sure you can use whatever tortilla that you want to use, tortilla chip. I've got some lettuce, some lime, avocado, cilantro, and green onion. So those are what we're going to top our bowls with. Of course, you can top your bowls with whatever you want. So it's almost ready, and I'll show you as soon as it's done. All right, so this is what it looked like once I took the lid off. So next I'm going to show me making my bowl. I put the Fritos down, put the meat on top of that, and then here's me piling on all the toppings. I love it all, large and loaded. So this was my favorite meal out of the ones that were made this week. This is definitely going to go into our family rotation, so you've got to try it. Hey y'all, it's Tuesday and I'm getting ready to put dinner in the crock pot, so I'm going to flip you around and show you what we're making tonight. So tonight's dinner is going to be slow cooker Parmesan chicken and rice. It's not really, it is a slow cooker recipe, but you only slow cook it for like 3 to 4 hours because you're supposed to cook it on high. I'm sure you could cook it on low, but the directions were very specific about just high, even in the comments. So I think it's going to be delicious, but we'll see. So what we've got here are 3 chicken breasts. The recipe calls for like 2 pounds of chicken. That's too much for, normally we're a family of 3, but my mama's here, so a family of 4. So that's plenty for a family of 4. So we've got a 1 3/4 cups of milk. We have 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, shredded. We've got a cup of long grain rice. I use jasmine, but you can use any long grain rice you want. I wouldn't recommend using brown unless you want to adjust your liquids that you put in there. So this recipe actually calls for a packet of Lipton garlic soup mix, garlic and herb. I couldn't find that, so I Googled it, and it seems like nowhere sells it anymore. I think I could buy it off Amazon, but I wasn't gonna wait for Amazon to come with just a packet of Lipton soup mix. So I looked it up and looked at the ingredients of what's normally in it. And I just kind of made my own version of it. It, of course, is not perfect, but it's basically all the same ingredients that's in the soup mix. So I took a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, a tablespoon of garlic powder, a tablespoon of onion powder, and a tablespoon of parsley, and mixed it all together. So that's what I'm going to use for my seasonings. That the amount that's right here equals about would be in an envelope of that soup mix if you got it at the store. We got some salt and pepper to taste. 2 cans of cream of chicken. So I'm going to put all of this in the crock pot, and we're going to cook it on high, and hopefully it turns out great. All right, so first things first, I'm going to put the 3 chicken breasts into my slow cooker that I sprayed down with some cooking spray. They almost didn't fit. All right, and then next I'm going to dump both cans of cream of chicken into the slow cooker. Now, the recipe says to mix all these ingredients that I'm about to layer on together and then pour it over the chicken. You should do that. It will cook more evenly and better that way, just FYI. Alright, so now I'm putting the rice on top of the cream of chicken. Then I'm putting in the seasoning mix that I made. And topping that with the milk. That's all the stuff that should be mixed together before you do this. So now I'm mixing it together. Then I'm going to put a little salt and pepper in it to taste. And lastly, I'm going to take that Parmesan cheese and sprinkle it all over the top. You're not going to stir that in, it's just going to stay on the top. Alright, so I'm going to put the lid on. And we're going to cook this on high for 3 hours. The recipe doesn't give you a low setting, so I recommend cooking it on high like it says. So after 3 hours, I took the lid off and separated the rice from the sides of the slow cooker to ensure it wouldn't be crunchy. It seemed like it needed a little bit more time to cook, so I put the lid back on and cooked it on high for about 15 more minutes. Okay, once that was done, I removed all the chicken breast from the crock pot and I'm going to shred them. You can leave them whole and serve them that way if you want to. I prefer it shredded. So then next I just dumped it back into the crock pot and got all that mixed together. Good and mixed. All right, so here it's all plated up. I served it with some steamed veggies that I mixed with butter and Cajun seasoning. My family devoured this. It was almost like a chicken casserole, but cooked easier into the slow cooker. All right, so tonight we're having pressure cooker or Instant Pot beef stroganoff. You can make it in your Instant Pot. I have a pressure cooker, an electric pressure cooker. It does the same thing as the Instant Pot. So what we've got is about a pound, it's a little over a pound of stew meat. I cut some of the pieces in half because they were quite large. 2 cans of cream and mushroom soup. Some sour cream that will go in after it's pressure cooked. Fresh garlic. This is about 2 spoonfuls. This kind of spoon. Full. Probably too much garlic. But I like it. Chopped up white onion. It's probably about a cup, maybe a little bit over. A package of onion soup mix. This is the kind from Aldi. I just poured it in there. A container of white button mushrooms that I sliced up, but I made sure that they were pretty thick. Because if you slice them too thin, then they kind of just disintegrate in your pressure cooker or in your slow cooker if you were to do it that way. Some cream cheese. We'll use half of this after it's cooked. Some parsley to top with, if that's what you would like. This is the kind that it's lightly dried, and when it touches a liquid, it kind of comes to life again. And then we're going to serve it over egg noodles. I'm not putting this in the pressure cooker. I'm going to put these on the side. I know there are recipes out there where you can do that. I'm not going to do that. I don't trust myself with it. So we're going to put these on the side, and then I'm also going to steam some green beans to go with it. So let's go ahead and get this all into the pressure cooker. The first things first, I dumped in both cans of the cream and mushroom soup. Then I put in a cup of water and the packet of onion soup mix, and I stirred all that together, got it good and mixed up. All right, then I added in the diced onions, the garlic, the sliced mushrooms, and the stew meat. And then I got all of that mixed up. All right, so once it was all mixed up, I put the lid on my pressure cooker and I set it on meat, quick cook, but I bumped up the time to 30 minutes because I didn't want it to be 15 or 45. So once that was done, I added in 4 ounces of cream cheese that I cubed. And then I put in about 8 ounces of sour cream. I'm wearing my new apron my mama bought me. All right, so then I mixed all that up. And once it was mixed up, I realized that it was a little thin for my liking. I recommend only putting in a half a cup of water or maybe even 3/4. So since it was so thin, I made a cornstarch slurry. And I slowly mixed that in, got it well blended. And I put the timer back on high for 15 minutes, quick cook, so it would help thicken that sauce up. So this is what it looks like now. I served it over egg noodles, and I put a little parsley on top, and we served steamed green beans on the side. This was, like I said, a little thin for my liking, but it still tasted amazing. My family liked this also, so it really hit that comforting spot in these cold winter months. The last dinner is lazy lasagna that our son cooked with my husband's help. It's basically just spaghetti sauce and meat mixed together, layered in a casserole dish with frozen ravioli and mozzarella cheese. It turned out wonderful and so good. I just wanted to showcase what he cooked for our family this week. All right, well, I hope that you liked this week's What's for Dinner. If you did like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. I hope that you have a fabulous weekend, and thank you so much.